Good morning, guys. I'm hiding behind this rock so I don't wake Murphy up. It's between 8:30 and 9 in the morning. I passed out about 9:30 p.m. after that hike, and I woke up at 8:30. So 11 hours of sleep. That's how exhausted I was. Murphy's still asleep, so that should tell you something. The night was peaceful. My only alarm clock was that I had to use the little boys' room really bad this morning. My lips are dry, chapped. I don't get chapped lips, so I never have chapstick, but being in the sun that long, as you could tell from the video from yesterday, we were above the tree line most of the day. There was no shade, and it didn't matter how much sunscreen I put on. I got a pretty good sunburn on my neck back here. It's pretty tender. I just think if you're exposed to the sun for hours and hours and hours and you have no shade or way to cool off, as we didn't, sunscreen didn't work so well. It was SPF 50 too. Good stuff. But so what happened on our hike is Murphy became really exhausted, and those were his symptoms. I had a headache. I became dizzy. I couldn't stop drinking water, and yet I wasn't peeing very much, even though I probably drank a gallon of water on the whole trip, and I still wasn't peeing a whole lot. And as we were coming back, we got in the shadow of the mountain. The sun started going down, and we could see the sun over Gunsight Pass. We knew we would warm up once we got there, but we were both in shorts and t-shirts because we didn't plan on it being an all-day trek. A lot of people do this hike in a matter of a few short hours. Some people don't, and we didn't. And part of my problem was how sluggish I felt. And when we came over Gunsight Pass and we were in the shadow of that mountain, the wind was blowing really hard, and I didn't film any of it, but I became borderline hypothermic from sweating so much and then getting in the shade with all that wind blowing on me. Temperature was probably in the upper 40s to low 50s in the shade, but 60s to 70s in the sun. It's very stark contrast with the weather up here. So we had to stop before we hiked down Gunsight Pass. I barely made it to the top of that. Poor Murphy was just waiting for me, and he could tell I was struggling. Mentally, I was starting to freak out. I was worried about hypothermia, and I started to realize that those other symptoms I was experiencing were altitude sickness. And so my body started just slowing way down. Everything, all my processes, my mental capacities, my ability to hike it was ridiculous how slow I was going. It was just, all I could do was stare at the trail and put one foot in front of the other and hope that eventually we'd be back at camp. So when we got to Gunsight Pass, Murphy said, "Hey man, I still have some ramen and I have some coffee." And so I took him up on the warm drink because I needed energy and warmth. I was freezing cold. I had goosebumps everywhere. And and then I had some bacon jerky with me that was super sweet, that gave me a sugar boost, and that got me down Gunsight Pass. And I also ate a breakfast biscuit that I had left, and that diminished the last of my food. Murphy still had food, thank goodness, but Neither of us expected that this would take all day, and the reason it took all day is because of exhaustion and altitude sickness. And I'm glad we didn't try to go to the peak, because I wouldn't have made it off. I don't think I would have made it up. So I feel restored today. I'm not sore. I have all my mental faculties back. We came back. When we got back here, I ate an MRE, shared some with Murphy because my stomach couldn't handle an entire meal. I was sick. I just felt horrible. I went to bed feeling horrible, praying that A, I would wake up, and B, I would feel better, and I feel good. It's nice and cool right now. It's comfortable, and so grateful just to be back. So some of it is my lack of preparedness. I didn't bring a change of clothes with me, long sleeve shirt, long sleeve pants that I have on now, and I didn't bring a jacket, and I didn't bring enough food. I've never undertaken a trek quite this long before, so I was underprepared. It was a massive learning experience. I'm grateful I did it. I don't regret it. But at the same time, it wasn't worth putting my life at risk or leaving Murphy in a position where he may have ended up alone on the trail with his dad gone next to him. So I'm grateful for him and his help, and I'm grateful that we made it back to camp safe. It was a scary, dangerous situation. And once we got over the pass and down the pass, after I had the refreshment and was able to get down into the sun, I perked up a lot. And we just walked and walked and walked to clear across the huge meadow, and we didn't see another soul. We must have been the last people trekking out of there. And as we got into this valley, the sun disappeared behind the mountains over here, but it didn't. The wind stopped blowing, which is a strange phenomenon up here in the Uintas. It blows all day, or much of the day, especially in the evening, and then the sun goes down and it just stops. So the sun went down, the wind stopped, and you saw those mooses we saw that Murphy spotted them, and hey, 2 mooses. Some nearby campers that we finally passed some people. They all heard us say it, so they came over, and that's what all that talking was in the video. Really nice people. 3 very attractive women and 2 men, and we were trying to figure out who was married to who, because anyway, it was an odd pairing of people. It doesn't matter. They could have been, who cares? Cut that out. Anyway, that was just up the road from camp. A little while later, we saw the little post that said no campfires near Dollar Lake, and we knew we'd found camp because we camped just outside of that border. Murphy did end up making a fire, which was good. It was just a small, short fire, but it was enough to build our morale while we ate, and that was it. We just cleaned up camp, and both of us just passed out. Today's plan is to hike back down to Elkhorn Crossing and camp, and then tomorrow morning we hike back to the car. So that's how this is going to work. I'm sunburnt, I'm exhausted, but I'm grateful to be here. So I didn't video any of it because I really was too out of it to make video. It's time for breakfast. Maybe Murphy will join me soon. squirrel friend is back. See what's for breakfast. I've eaten so many pine needles, it's not even funny. Usual breakfast, but a good one, an energizing one. Murphy's not quite ready to get up, but he unzipped because he was getting hot from the sun. He's kind of moving. It's funny. How are the muscles? Are they stiff?
What?
Your muscles stiff?
Yeah.
I'm not having that problem. Huh?
My feet hurt.
Yeah, I bet. I can't wait to soak mine in the lake, dude. That's all I've got left of my breakfast at this point is oatmeal. And now our squirrel friend decides to come out and see what I'm eating. He ran right up here to this tree to check me out. But he took off. He sure is cute. Something wrong with his nose. He hangs out right in here. I don't know where he went. He was just here. I have this breakfast biscuit for my snack bag. Let's see if I can lure him over here with it while I'm sitting here. He came so close, like right there. He's adorable. To think I used to shoot those things when I was younger. Couldn't do it now, unless I was starving. I don't know where he went. So Murphy was just telling me that our total mileage yesterday was 12.5 miles. How many steps?
Like 33,000.
33,000 steps. Pretty spectacular. Not to mention the altitude. Ah, the altitude. I didn't know that altitude would affect me like that, but it did. So now I've learned something new about myself. As much as I love the outdoors, my body does not love extreme high altitude. Maybe that's not extreme, it's not Mount Everest, but it's more than I'm used to. And for example, I know people who move to Utah from back east who have a really hard time acclimating to the altitude. My friend Joe, Mr. T-Max, he grew up in California at a lower, practically sea level. And every time we've gone up to about the 10,000 foot level to camp, he's gotten really sick. And then we drive back down into town and he feels fine. And that's how it was for me. I'm down much lower, I'm back at camp, and I feel fine. I got a full breakfast in me, and I have plenty of energy, and I got lots of rest, and I'm okay now. So something that I need to be aware of. Some people aren't affected by it. It meant there were many people up there hiking that weren't affected by the altitude. But I sure was. Murphy was, I think you were just exhausted, weren't you?
What?
Weren't you just exhausted?
Yeah.
He just hit this wall and was just like, oh, I'm done, I can't. So, part of the problem too is we lost the trail several times. Couple of times on the way up, multiple times on the way back. So we kind of lost our way with, had to backtrack quite a bit, had to do some bushwhacking. Didn't film any of it because I was so out of it. And it looks like my battery's about to die. So I better throw this on the charger. Anyway, it was quite the adventure. I don't regret anything. I think we accomplished a lot together. Father and son, wherever he went. My son has disappeared, so just father, I guess. He's a man of few words. Don't know if you've noticed. And I can't shut up. Depends on the situation. Okay, breakfast is done. We're kind of getting our wits back about us ourselves. Even Murphy, huh? Seems a little more chipper. It's a word my mom used, chipper. She was born in the 20s. Anyway, we're gonna go down to the lake and replenish our water again. It's almost a straight shot right through these trees. Beautiful morning. Here's camp. Beautiful, peaceful day on the lake. Now, mind you, I'm soaking my filthy feet after I filtered water. Murphy too. Mildly sunburnt legs. I'm as pale as Jim Gaffigan, so I burn really easily. Oh yeah, that feels good though. What a scene to soak your feet in. I don't see any sign of fish in this lake at all.
I just saw something jump in the middle.
You did?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, there are fish. Yesterday I didn't see any of that. Or the day before, whenever that was. Way out there in the deep part. There are fish in this lake. We've seen them jump way out there in the deeper part. As you can see, this part's pretty shallow. About a third of the way out it gets deep. One just jumped right over here too. Caught this little bugger sneaking food that I left him. He's not too happy to see us. What's the matter? What's the matter, you? Go away, this is my camp. Yeah, you're right, you were here first. He's been hanging out with us the whole time we've been here. Just a little baby. Obnoxious baby. Well, it's been a little while since we got back with water, so what we've decided to do, well, what Murphy decided to do, and I followed suit, was get everything packed except for the bare minimum we still plan on using while we're here for a little while longer, and just be ready to go when we decide to head back down to Elkhorn Crossing. We'll probably have lunch here, won't we?
Yeah.
Like eat and then pack up and go?
Yeah.
That way we have the energy. I moved my hammock from over there to over here just so I could lay in the shade, but I'm not sure how peaceful it's going to be because my chattering little friend is up there somewhere. He's been yelling at us. He's pretty entertaining, actually. Anyway, Murphy's going to leave his the screen portion of his tent up so he can just lay in there and chill. I'm going to lay in the hammock for a while. Then we'll have lunch. It's about 11:30 in the morning. We have about 4 miles to hike back down, and it's all downhill, thank goodness, down to Elkhorn Crossing. Dude, this is lower than I thought. Look at that. I'm used to it being a good 2-3 feet off the ground. I need to adjust this strap. Okay, so I have it around the tree, but if I went around another time, the hammock was too high. So I opted for wrapping it around that little branch right there, praying that it's strong enough to hold my 200 pounds. And so far, so good. Here's my view. Better yet, here's my view. As long as that little squirrel doesn't throw things at me or try to crap on my head, I should be alright. The socks that I hiked in yesterday, I rinsed them in the lake. There they are, swinging in the breeze. I got some thick wool socks on now. I'll probably hike in those today. They're good for sleeping in. Keep my footsies warm. Pretty sweet setup. Look at this tree. This old dead one that's probably been around for eons. You don't notice it all the time unless you're laying back looking up. It's just amazing. It just goes up and then comes to a point. The things that tree could tell us. It's got a solid trunk. That thing's probably 5 feet around. No, it's not a California redwood, but still pretty amazing. Yellow pine. He dropped it. Our squirrel stole one of our peanut butter cups. Like a literal cup of peanut butter, and he's trying to make off with it. And he just dropped it. He's right in here. He's over there. Is it full?
I don't think it was.
Just garbage?
Yeah.
Poor guy, so hungry. How close he's getting to Murphy. Oh my gosh. What's the matter? What are you doing? He's looking for some more food. Well, it's about 12:30 and just been lounging, hanging out, being entertained by the squirrel. I'm hungry, so it's getting close to time to eat lunch and leave this camp. I'm really sunburnt. Like, my face hurts, my ears hurt, my neck hurts. I put more sunscreen on. I'm not sure if it's helping or not. Doesn't seem to be doing much, does it? Anyway, it's weird to think that tomorrow we'll be heading back to civilization, but this will be our last evening here tonight down at Elkhorn Crossing. So lunch is the usual: ramen, Spam, and a kept my peanut butter from my MRE last night. I'll probably eat that first because I'm kind of hungry. And then Murphy's over there gathering up his gear and organizing it somewhere over there. And that's the plan for now. Kind of groggy. I dozed off for a little while. It sure is beautiful up here though. Well, that's it. I've taken my hammock down. We had lunch. It's my lunch spot right there. Murphy looks like he's ready to go. Getting his shoes tied. I'm ready to go. I neglected to put my water bladder in first. So I creatively strapped the hood over the top of it. Should stay in place. It's easier to get to anyway with how much water I've been drinking. I've got my charger on the back so it can get some sun. My hammock I just threw on the outside. A lot less weight this time without all that food. And here's our fire pit. You can kind of tell it used to be a fire pit. We could tell when we showed up, but it still looks better like this than it did. Everything up burned that we intended, down to coals and ashes. Rolled the rock back into the hole, covered it up best we could. I don't know who dug the chunks of dirt up before we got here, but anyway, there you go. That was our fire pit. Everything else is done. Looks like it did when we got here. Time to put the Beastmaster on my back again and head about 4 miles down the trail for the next and final campsite of the night, of the week. Alright, time to ease on down the road. Say goodbye. Oh, and by the way, a little space between Kings Peak and the peak next to it, that's Anderson's Slide that we considered climbing down. The little fort we were in is right at the top. Whew, what a thought. All right, downhill from here. And hopefully a lot of shady trees. Unbelievable. A little over an hour we made it back to Elk's Horn Crossing. Not in our wildest dreams did we think we'd make it back that fast. Kind of a gathering place. Okay, I've learned two things. We're at Elkhorn Crossing and we made it in what? What was our time?
Less than an hour and a half.
Less than an hour and a half. Going up there, which is all uphill mind you, it took hours. We just hoofed it from our last camp to Elkhorn Crossing in less than an hour and a half. We only stopped, what, twice? And that was to let people by. That was to let a train full of people go by. Because it's Thursday now and everybody's coming up for the weekend. Pretty amazing, dude. We made excellent time.
Yeah.
So, we're contemplating now whether to camp back here by the river like we did and we got so cold because we were close to the water. We're continuing on and finding another place because it's early afternoon.
2:30.
Yeah.
We left just after 1.
Right.
So.
Truthfully, if we pushed it too hard back down, we'd probably get all the way back to the car.
Yeah.
And that's not really what the plan is. The plan is to camp one more night. right?
Mm.
Okay, so we just got to sit here in this little grove and talk about it, I guess. But I'm proud of us. We did good. Compared to how we were moving last night and how scary and dangerous that was. Yeah, we're at a much lower elevation. I'd say that was the problem.
Look how burned that.
While we're here, I hit record, yeah. While we're here, might as well get water at the river. Our plan right now, we have about 6 miles back to the car. And we did not plan on getting here at 2 p.m. We were thinking dinner time. So we're gonna hike down the trail about halfway to the parking lot and find a place to camp instead of camping right here where everybody congregates. Before that, I drank 2 liters of water this morning already. I can't believe how much water I've put away on this trip. And I just crave it the more I drink it. So, time to do a refill. I have a liter left in my bladder and a liter left, my water bladder, not my pee bladder. And I have a liter left in a Smart bottle. Well, anyway, we camped over there, straight through those trees, the first night.
I don't have a problem with high mileage hiking. Like, give me a couple days, I'll do a lot of miles. It's just that elevation.
Yeah. Yeah, me too. All right, my bladder's full. Spank my bladder. I know there's people around, I don't care. We're done with that. And I have this liter over here that's not filtered. And what I want to do when we find a campsite is use this hose system. It's a gravity feed system. One end goes on the bottle, one end feeds into this. So after I've used some water out of this, I want to see how the gravity filter works. I've never used it. Our plan now is just to get our packs back on and head back down the trail. Back into the woods. So we're about 1.5 miles down from the crossing. Murphy had to go tinkle. So we're just taking a break right here. This little, I don't know, turnout? I don't know what you'd call it. We're gonna do about another 1/2 mile and then we'll start scoping out a place. Otherwise we're gonna end up hiking all the way back to the car, like I said. And we still have one more night here, so tonight will all be all about just relaxing and enjoying one more night in the mountains before diving back into the rat race. Here we go again. Okay, the trail is right up there, about 200 feet that way. And so we hiked off trail down into here and we found this amazing clearing with this huge freaking dead tree. But in this amazing clearing is a fire pit. It's fairly flat. Murphy shouldn't have too much of a problem finding a place for his tent. We've decided this is home for the night, even though we're breaking our own rule by camping right by the freaking river. Which means we might be a little bit cold tonight. We'll see how it goes. A lot of dead, burned trees from an old forest fire. I just have to find somewhere to throw my hammock up. Well, my friends, Murphy and I, after much discussion, have decided this fourth night of our adventure up here in the Henry's Fork area has come to an end. Is this a swamp? We're tired. We're not so much hungry. It took me a while to even set up my shelter. Couldn't seem to organize my thoughts. So, we're gonna take a look at the river. We're gonna forego dinner for now. And we're gonna hike out of here and leave tonight. We're gonna take one last look around at our surroundings and not spend another night in the cold, because our only plan tomorrow morning was to get up, have breakfast, and hike out and go home. The trailhead's only a couple miles down the trail. As neat as that campsite is, we're tired, and sometimes it's okay to know when to quit. This is our river that we camped by. The other problem is my battery's almost dead, and my charger left it out in the sun, but it's not working very well. It's solar, but not too impressed with it today. I was yesterday. Maybe it just didn't get enough sunlight. Isn't this beautiful though? This is where we are. Right on the border of Utah and Wyoming. Surrounded by this. Well, there comes a time when civilization calls, and right now I'm thinking about a hot shower. 2 little boys that I haven't seen all week. And they're leaving for Washington next week with their mom for a vacation, and I'd like to see them before they leave Saturday, and it's only Thursday, so we have about 2 hours of daylight left. I think we're gonna pack and hike. It's been a lot of miles. I haven't filmed every step of the way on purpose, but I've filmed what I felt like mattered. So I hope you've enjoyed this episode, or these episodes, as I've had to break them up. And we'll see you in the next adventure very soon. I'm Utah Steve. And that's Utah Murphy. Just as we're getting ready to pack up, I noticed her staring at us. It's a cow moose. Oh no, it's a bull, dude. It's got antlers. That's a bull.
This is how I feel and how I want to live. You and I are real and have so much to give. I will answer when you call. I will catch you when you fall. Let's run away. Let's run away. Disappear is what our hearts they long for now. From the painful lives we fell into somehow. We have run, we have cried, we have held each other tight. Let's run away. run away. Let's dance into a dream again where only we reside. We'll run together hand in hand and find our place to hide. These butterflies will never die, our friendship never ends. Let's worry about the here and now, our broken hearts will mend. We can wish our tears away into another time. We can stop the fear that sometimes clouds our minds. We can try to be strong, but we'll break before too long. Let's run away. Let's run away. We could cry inside, or we could run away to a place and time where only we can say we can run, we can fly with a love that never dies. Let's run away. Let's run away. Let's dance into a dream again where only we reside. We'll run together hand in hand and find our place to hide. These butterflies will never die, our friendship never ends. Let's worry about the here and now, our broken hearts will mend.
Whoa, look at that. See? Those are my teeth. Okay. I was zoomed way in on my teeth. You're like, what about your teeth?